I'm Brianna.
Standing in the grand hall of the Winters estate, surrounded by the opulence of crystal chandeliers and well-dressed guests, I felt a strange sense of calm. The invitation read, "Celebrating 20 years of the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation and Mrs. Evelyn Winters' 62nd birthday." I was dressed in a simple black gown, with a cream-colored envelope tucked inside my coat. The memory of the night I found out the truth came flooding back. It was a stormy Saturday. My phone buzzed in my hand, and a text from an unknown number said, "St. Michael's Church, 3 p.m. You need to see this." I sat in my old Ford by the curb, the wipers struggling to clear the fog on the windshield. My husband, Ryan, had told me he was in Chicago for a 3-day business conference. I even helped him pack. But here I was in Seattle, over 300 miles from Chicago, looking at a church that I knew would shatter my world. I took a deep breath and stepped into the street. The church bells tolled like an inescapable judgment. I slipped into the back pew, hiding behind a thick column. When the organ started playing, Ryan walked up in a tuxedo I'd never seen before. And then, the bride appeared. It was Lily, my best friend since college, the one who was by my side when my father passed away. She was walking towards Ryan with a smile that I once thought was only for me. I don't remember how I left the church. When I got back to my apartment, another message from the unknown number asked, "Now you've seen it, so what will you do?" I laughed bitterly and poured myself a glass of whiskey, Ryan's favorite. I knew I couldn't just sit back. I started digging. I remembered helping Ryan recover access to an internal email at his law firm 3 years ago. I found his secondary account with ease. There were emails about a real estate investment firm called Horizon Holdings. Emails between Ryan and a lawyer named Stella Reed, who specialized in private trust structuring. Stella had attended a charity gala hosted by Evelyn, my mother-in-law. I discovered that Ryan and Lily were part of a long-term financial scheme. They planned to transfer real estate ownership from me to Lily through marriage. My name had been removed from legal structures 7 months ago when Ryan started traveling more. Evelyn was using me as a political cover, as my uncle was a well-known senator. Ryan came home 3 days after his so-called conference. I was sitting at the dining table, surrounded by evidence. When he casually asked me to have dinner, I showed him the truth. I told him I knew about everything, from Lily to Stella and the shady trust funds. I also revealed that I had added a severability clause to our prenuptial agreement last year after an accident. As of that day, he had no legal right to stay in the house. I then met Lily at a small cafe by the lake. I showed her the evidence of the scheme. She was shocked to learn that she was also a pawn. I gave her a choice: keep living in the lie or work with me to end it. She decided to help. 3 days later, we went to see Max Thompson, a financial attorney and a friend of my brother Jake. Max showed us that the Hope for Tomorrow Foundation, founded by Evelyn 18 years ago, was a front for money laundering. Most of the donations were funneled into secondary trusts under the names of minors. Over 30 children were involved, and more than half of them never received the promised benefits. One morning, Evelyn came to my apartment. She wanted to negotiate a quiet settlement. She said if I exposed everything, the children depending on the foundation would suffer. She offered me a financial package, cleared Lily's name, and promised to restructure everything legally. But I knew I couldn't just let it go. That evening at the Winters estate, as Evelyn was making a speech about the foundation's generosity, I stepped forward. I told the guests about the money laundering, asset manipulation, and the exploitation of children's names. I held up the cream-colored envelope of the settlement proposal and set it on fire. At that moment, federal investigators entered the hall. Evelyn and Ryan were taken away for investigation. But the shock didn't end there. Max called me and told me there was a file related to my biological father. It turned out that Ryan was my half-brother. My father, David Harris, an ethical journalist, had worked with Evelyn years ago. A DNA test confirmed the truth. Now, a week after the first hearing, I'm sitting on the balcony of my new apartment, sipping hot tea. The Winters estate has been frozen, Ryan is facing federal charges, and Evelyn is in custody. Lily showed up one day with a small box. Inside was a silver star pendant I gave her on our graduation. She said she hid it when she started seeing Ryan. I told her I forgave her. A few days later, Lily introduced me to her mother, Vera, who was restructuring her company after the scandal. Vera asked me to join them. I need time to think. I've learned that revenge isn't about destruction. It's about walking away with the truth and starting anew. I'm no longer the naive wife or the used friend. I'm Brianna, and I'm ready to face the future.